When I saw those messages on her phone, my hand started shaking so badly I almost dropped it. 2 years. 2 entire years she'd kept me from my grandchildren, and now I knew exactly why. And it had nothing to do with what she'd told everyone. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning, because you need to understand just how much I loved that woman before everything fell apart. Before I explain what I discovered, please tap like. It helps me keep my voice steady. If you've ever had someone tear your family apart, please subscribe. Your support feels like the only loyalty I have left. And comment your name and where you're watching from. I want to remember those who stand with me. My name is Margaret, and I'm 67 years old. I've been a widow for 5 years now, ever since my husband Robert passed from a sudden heart attack. Robert and I had one son, Michael, and we poured everything we had into raising him. We weren't wealthy, but we made sure he had every opportunity: college education, help with his first car, a down payment on his starter home. We did what parents do. We loved him fiercely. When Michael brought Jennifer home 10 years ago, I was thrilled. She was beautiful, confident, and she seemed to adore my son. They got married within a year, and I welcomed her into our family with open arms. I truly did. I helped her plan the wedding, spending over $15,000 of my own savings to make sure it was perfect. I didn't mind. She was going to be the mother of my grandchildren someday, and I wanted to start our relationship on the right foot. And then the babies came. First Emma, then 2 years later, the twins, Lucas and Sophia. How I loved those children. From the moment each of them was born, I was there. I was in the delivery room for Emma's birth. I held those twins when they were just hours old. I was grandma, and being grandma was the greatest joy of my life after losing Robert. For the first few years, everything seemed wonderful. I babysat twice a week so Jennifer could have time for herself. I took the kids to the park, baked cookies with Emma, rocked the twins to sleep. I bought them clothes, toys, books. I set up college funds for each of them, depositing $200 every single month. I showed up for every birthday, every holiday, every school event. I thought I was being a good grandmother. I thought I was helping. Jennifer seemed grateful at first. She'd hug me and say, "I don't know what I'd do without you, Margaret." Michael would tell me I was the best mom and the best grandma in the world. I felt needed. I felt loved. After Robert died, those children gave me a reason to get up in the morning. But looking back now, I can see when things started to shift. It was subtle at first. Jennifer began making little comments. "Oh, you're here again?" she'd say when I'd show up on my regular babysitting day, as if it surprised her, even though we'd had the same schedule for months. Or, "The kids are really attached to you, maybe too attached," with this tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. I brushed it off. I told myself she was just tired, stressed with 3 young children. I tried harder to be helpful. I started cleaning their house while I babysat. I'd do their laundry, scrub their bathrooms, organize their pantry. I bought them groceries when I noticed they were running low one month. When they mentioned they were struggling with the mortgage one month, I wrote them a check for $3,000 without hesitation. "You don't have to do that, Mom," Michael said. But he took the check. They always took the money. The comments from Jennifer got sharper. "Emma's been having nightmares. I think she's overstimulated from seeing too many people. The twins need more structure. We're implementing a new schedule. We're trying a new parenting approach that requires consistency, so we'll need to limit outside influences." Outside influences? Bitter laugh. That's what I'd become. But still, I had access to my grandchildren. I could still see their faces, hold them, hear them call me grandma. That was all that mattered. So I swallowed my pride and adjusted. I asked permission before buying them things. I followed every rule Jennifer set, no matter how arbitrary it seemed. Don't give them sugar after 3 p.m. Don't let them watch more than 30 minutes of television. Don't talk about Grandpa Robert because it confuses them about death. That last one hurt. Robert had been so excited to be a grandfather. He'd only gotten 2 years with Emma before he passed. Erasing him from their lives felt like losing him all over again. Then came Emma's 5th birthday party. I'd been planning it for weeks with Jennifer, or so I thought. I'd offered to host it at my house, to pay for everything. Jennifer said that would be too much trouble for me, so I offered to pay for a party at a local venue instead. She picked one of those expensive indoor play places, the kind with trampolines and climbing structures. The party package cost $800. I paid it happily.
The day before the party, I called to confirm what time I should arrive to help set up. Jennifer's voice was cold. Actually, Margaret, we've decided to keep the party small this year. Just parents and kids. No extended family. My stomach dropped. But I'm her grandmother. I've been to every birthday. I know, and that's sweet, but Emma specifically said she wants just a kid party this year. We need to respect her wishes. Emma was 5 years old. 5. She hadn't specifically said anything of the sort. I knew it. Jennifer knew I knew it. But what could I say? I showed up anyway. I know I shouldn't have, but I couldn't miss my granddaughter's birthday. I brought her gift, a beautiful dollhouse I'd spent weeks picking out, and I walked into that play place with my head held high. Jennifer's face when she saw me, I'll never forget it. Pure rage, barely contained behind a forced smile because there were other parents watching. She pulled me aside, her fingernails digging into my arm. I told you not to come. She's my granddaughter, I said, my voice shaking. I have a right to. You have no rights, she hissed. These are my children, my family, and if you can't respect our boundaries, then maybe you shouldn't be around them at all. She took the dollhouse from my hands and walked away. I stood there frozen as Emma ran past me to play with her friends. My granddaughter didn't even know I was there. Or maybe she did know, and Jennifer had told her not to acknowledge me. I don't know which possibility hurt more. I left. I sat in my car in that parking lot and I cried for an hour. Then I drove home to my empty house and cried some more. The next day, Michael called. Mom, Jennifer's really upset. You embarrassed her in front of the other parents. You need to apologize. Apologize for wanting to celebrate my granddaughter's birthday? For showing up when she asked you not to? His voice was strained, caught between us. Look, just give her some space, okay? Let things cool down. You know how she can be. Yes, I knew how she could be. And apparently, I was supposed to just accept it. I gave her space. 1 week turned into 2, then a month. Every time I called Michael to ask about seeing the kids, he had an excuse. They're busy with activities. The kids have been sick. Jennifer's overwhelmed and needs family time. Just a little longer, Mom. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a Tuesday afternoon, 3 months after Emma's birthday party. I was at the grocery store, and I saw them. Jennifer was in the produce section with all 3 children. Emma was helping pick out apples. The twins were sitting in the cart, babbling to each other in that secret language twins have. My heart jumped. God, how I'd missed them. Lucas had gotten so much bigger. Sophia's hair was longer. Emma had lost a front tooth. I approached slowly, carefully, wearing my biggest smile. Emma, sweetheart, hi. Emma's face lit up. Grandma! She started to run toward me. Jennifer's hand shot out and grabbed her shoulder, stopping her. Emma, no, we talked about this. But it's Grandma, she said, confused. I stopped a few feet away, my smile faltering. Jennifer, please. It's been 3 months. I just want to stay away from us. Her voice was loud enough that other shoppers turned to look. I've asked you repeatedly to respect our boundaries, and you continue to violate them. This is harassment. Harassment? I'm shopping in the same store. You're following us. You're stalking my children. She pulled out her phone. If you come near us again, I'm calling the police. The entire produce section was staring at us now. An elderly man looked at me with disgust. A young mother pulled her own child closer, as if I were some kind of predator. I left my shopping cart right there in the aisle, and I walked out. I sat in my car, shaking, unable to process what had just happened. She had threatened to call the police on me. She had called me a stalker in front of dozens of people. She had made me look like some kind of crazy woman who couldn't take no for an answer. When I got home, there was already an email from Michael. Subject line, "We need to talk." The email was long, clearly written by Jennifer, but sent from his account. It detailed all of my boundary violations, showing up at Emma's party uninvited, ambushing them at the grocery store, making Jennifer feel unsafe and harassed, ending with a clear ultimatum. I was no longer welcome around their family. No visits, no calls, no contact with the grandchildren. If I attempted to reach out, they would pursue legal action, including a restraining order. A restraining order against their children's grandmother for the crime of loving them too much? I called Michael immediately. He answered on the 5th ring, his voice exhausted. "Mom."
Michael, what is this? What's happening? You know what's happening. Jennifer told you to back off and you wouldn't. You're being obsessive. Obsessive. I'm their grandmother. I've been a part of their lives since they were born. And that's great, Mom, but you're not their parent. We get to decide who's around our kids and when. And right now, you're causing too much stress. I love you, but I love my wife and kids more. I have to put them first. I'm not asking you to choose, I said desperately. I just want to see my grandchildren. Please, Michael, I'll follow any rules. I'll do whatever Jennifer wants. Just please don't take them away from me. The silence on the other end of the line stretched for so long I thought he'd hung up. Then, give it 6 months. If you can respect our space for 6 months, we'll revisit this. 6 months? I could barely survive 6 days without seeing those kids, and he wanted 6 months. Okay, I whispered. What else could I say? 6 months became 9 months. 9 months became a year. Every time the deadline approached, there was a new reason to extend it. Jennifer was pregnant again and didn't need the stress. The pregnancy ended in a miscarriage, and she was too devastated to deal with family drama. Emma started kindergarten and needed stability. The twins were going through a difficult phase. I stopped calling. What was the point? Michael would just make excuses, his voice getting more and more distant each time, like I was becoming a stranger to him. I sent birthday cards to the children, but I never knew if they received them. I kept depositing money into their college funds because I didn't know what else to do, how else to show them I still loved them, still thought about them every single day. My life became smaller. I stopped going to church because people would ask about my grandchildren, and I couldn't bear to explain. I stopped having lunch with my friends for the same reason. I spent my days rattling around in my house, surrounded by photos of Emma, Lucas, and Sophia at ages they weren't anymore. The dollhouse I'd bought for Emma sat in my spare bedroom, still in its box, a monument to my failure. My sister Patricia called me every week, worried. "You're wasting away, Margaret. You need to do something. Fight back. Get a lawyer." And do what? Sue for grandparent rights? Drag Michael and Jennifer to court? That would only push them further away. They can't get much further away than they already are, she pointed out. but I couldn't do it. Some part of me still believed that if I was patient enough, if I was good enough, if I just waited long enough, Jennifer would soften. Michael would convince her. I'd get my family back. 2 years. It took 2 full years before I saw them again. And when I did, it was by complete accident. I'd started volunteering at the local library to fill my empty days. It was a Wednesday morning, and I was reshelving books in the children's section when I heard a voice I recognized. Emma's voice, older now, but still unmistakable. "Mom, can we get this one?" I peeked around the shelf. There they were, all 3 kids, and they were so big now. Emma was 7, almost as tall as the bookshelf she was browsing. The twins were 5, reading level markers for the early chapter books. They'd grown up without me. I'd missed 2 years of their lives. Jennifer was at the checkout desk, her back to me, talking on her phone. "No, I'm at the library. I'll meet you at the house in 20 minutes. A pause. "He won't be home until 6. We have plenty of time." Her voice was low, intimate in a way that made something in my chest tighten. I should have walked away. I know that now. But I moved closer, ducking behind a tall shelf where I could see her, but she couldn't see me. She was texting someone, a small smile on her face. Then she lifted the phone to take a selfie, pursing her lips, adjusting her hair. She sent it with a little laugh. This was the woman who was too stressed and overwhelmed to let me see my grandchildren? She looked relaxed, happy, flirtatious even. "Mom, I need to use the bathroom," I heard Lucas say. Jennifer glanced up, annoyed. "Can't you wait until we get home?" "I really need to go." "Fine. Emma, watch your sister. I'll be right back." She walked toward the bathrooms at the back of the library, phone still in her hand. And she left it on the checkout counter, face up, while she took Lucas to the bathroom. I looked at Emma and Sophia, my granddaughters, 10 feet away from me. Emma was showing Sophia a picture book, pointing out illustrations. They were so beautiful, so perfect. I wanted to call out to them, to run to them, to hug them and never let go. But Jennifer's phone was right there, unlocked, the screen still showing her text conversation with whoever she had just sent that selfie to. I've never been a sneak. I've never been the kind of person who goes through other people's things, but 2 years of silence, 2 years of being shut out of my grandchildren's lives, 2 years of being painted as some kind of dangerous, obsessive woman, all of that pushed me forward. I walked to the counter. I picked up her phone, and I started reading. The text thread was with someone saved in her phone as Drew. The messages went back months, flirtatious messages, plans to meet up, complaints about Michael. "He's working late again, so boring. I need excitement in my life. Can't wait to see you today." I scrolled up, my heart pounding. There were photos, Jennifer in lingerie, photos that were clearly taken in my son's house, in the bedroom he shared with his wife. Selfies with Drew, a man I didn't recognize. They were at restaurants, hotels, his apartment based on the background of some pictures. She was having an affair. I kept scrolling faster now. I found messages from 6 months ago. "Michael's mom is still trying to see the kids, so annoying." Drew's response, "Just keep her blocked. Less witnesses, LOL. Jennifer, "Exactly. His whole family is so up in my business. I can't wait until we can be together for real." My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. She hadn't banned me from seeing my grandchildren because I was boundary crossing or obsessive. She'd banned me because I was in the way, because having me around meant more eyes on her, more chances someone would notice she was cheating on my son. I heard the bathroom door open, Jennifer's voice, "Come on, Lucas, we need to go." I did something I'd never done before in my life. Whisper. I opened my own phone and I started taking pictures of her phone screen.
Message after message, photo after photo. My hands were shaking so badly some of them came out blurry, but I got enough. Dozens of screenshots captured on my phone. Evidence. I set her phone back on the counter exactly as I'd found it and ducked back into the stacks just as Jennifer returned to collect her phone and her children. Girls, let's go. Emma, put those books back. We'll come another day. But Mom... Now, Emma. I watched them leave, my 3 grandchildren filing out the door behind a woman who'd manipulated all of us, who'd stolen 2 years of my life with them, who was destroying my son's family while making me out to be the villain. When I got to my car, I sat there for 20 minutes, just breathing, trying to process what I'd discovered. Part of me wanted to call Michael immediately, but another part, the part that had learned caution over the past 2 years, knew I needed to be smart about this. I drove to Patricia's house. My sister took one look at my face and pulled me inside. What happened? I showed her my phone. She scrolled through the screenshots, her expression growing darker with each one. Coldly. That manipulative little bitch. Patricia! No, don't defend her. She's been having an affair and using you as a scapegoat. She kept you from those babies for 2 years because you were inconvenient to her lies? Patricia grabbed my shoulders. You have to show Michael. I know. But what if he doesn't believe me? What if he thinks I fabricated these somehow? What if he chooses her anyway? Then at least you tried. Margaret, you've been dying slowly for 2 years. This is your chance to fight back. She was right. I knew she was right, but I was terrified. I went home and I did something I should have done 2 years ago. I called a lawyer, a family law attorney my sister recommended. Her name was Rebecca Chen, and when I walked into her office the next day with my screenshots, she listened to everything with the sharp focus of someone who'd seen similar stories before. She asked when I finished, "Do you want a relationship with your grandchildren? More than anything, then you need to tell your son today, and you need to be prepared for the possibility that his wife will retaliate." She pulled out a legal pad. "We should file for grandparent visitation rights. With this evidence of her affair and her clear pattern of parental alienation, you have a strong case. I don't want to take them to court. I just want to see my grandchildren." Rebecca looked at me with sympathy. "Mrs. Morrison, you tried being nice. You tried being patient. That woman stole 2 years from you. She's going to keep stealing more unless you force her hand." She was right. Being nice hadn't worked. Being patient hadn't worked. It was time to stop being the doormat grandmother who took whatever scraps of affection she was thrown. I called Michael. It rang 4 times before he answered, and I could hear the twins arguing in the background. "Mom, is everything okay? I need to see you. Today. It's important. I'm at work and Jennifer has the kids. Come to my house after work. Come alone." Firmly. "This isn't a request. I'll see you at 6:30. I hung up before he could argue. Then I spent the rest of the day preparing. I printed out every screenshot. I organized them chronologically in a folder. I made copies of everything. And I waited. Michael arrived at 6:45, looking wary. "Mom, what's this about? Jennifer's going to be upset that I came here without telling her." "Jennifer's going to be upset about a lot of things." I gestured to the couch. "Sit down."
Sit down. He sat and I handed him the folder. I ran into Jennifer and the kids at the library yesterday. She left her phone unattended. I looked at it. You need to see what I found. Michael's face as he went through those screenshots. I've carried babies. I've buried my husband. But watching my son realize his wife was cheating on him while using his mother as a scapegoat might have been the hardest thing I've ever witnessed. He didn't say anything for a long time. He just kept flipping through pages, his face getting paler and paler. When he finally spoke, his voice was flat. "How long have you known?" "Since yesterday. I came straight to you." "Who else knows?" "Patricia and my lawyer." His head snapped up. "Your lawyer?" "I've been banned from seeing my grandchildren for 2 years, Michael. Your wife told me I was harassing her, threatened to call the police on me, made me feel like I was crazy for wanting to be in their lives. And all of it Every single bit of it was a lie to cover up her affair. So yes, I contacted a lawyer about grandparent visitation rights. You're going to sue us? I'm going to sue her if she continues to keep me from those children. You, I'm hoping, will do the right thing. Michael stood up, the folder clutched in his hands. I need to go. Michael, I need to go, Mom. I need to think. He left. I didn't hear from him for 2 days of silence that felt like an eternity, wondering if I'd just made everything worse, if he'd believed Jennifer's inevitable lies over the evidence in black and white. Then, on Friday evening, my phone rang. Michael's voice was rough, like he'd been crying. Can I come over? Of course. When he arrived, he looked terrible. Unshaven, exhausted, his eyes red-rimmed. He collapsed onto my couch and just sat there for a moment before speaking. I confronted her, showed her the screenshots. What did she say? She said you must have faked them, that you were so desperate to see the kids that you'd manufacture evidence of an affair. She was very convincing. For about 5 minutes, I actually wondered if she was right. My stomach dropped. Michael. But then I checked our cell phone bill, found hundreds of calls to a number I didn't recognize, matched it to the Drew guy in her messages. Then I checked our credit card statements, found charges at hotels, restaurants, places we've never been together, all on days when she said she was taking the kids to the park or visiting her sister. His voice broke. She's been using our money to fund her affair. I'm so sorry. You have nothing to be sorry for. I'm the one who should apologize. She banned you from our lives, and I let her. I chose keeping my marriage peaceful over standing up for you. You're my mother. You've only ever loved us, and I let her paint you as some kind of villain because it was easier than dealing with her moods. I moved to sit beside him, taking his hand. You were trying to protect your family. But you're my family too, and I failed you. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We cried together, my son and I, for everything that had been broken. And then we talked about Jennifer, about the kids, about what happened next. I want a divorce, Michael said. I already called a lawyer, filed papers this morning. What about the children? Joint custody, but I'm fighting for primary. With this evidence of her affair, of her using them as pawns to keep you away, my lawyer thinks I have a strong case. And I'm putting it in the custody agreement. You get visitation rights. Weekly visits, holidays, summers. It's going to be legally protected so she can never take them away from you again. Thank you. I should have done it 2 years ago. Jennifer didn't go quietly. Of course she didn't. When the divorce papers were served, she called me. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. You've destroyed my family, she hissed. No pretense of friendliness now, no fake concern, just pure venom. You couldn't mind your own business. You couldn't just stay away, and now you've ruined everything. I saw the messages, Jennifer. I saw the photos. You destroyed your own family. Those were private. You had no right to keep me from my grandchildren for 2 years. You used them as weapons because I was inconvenient to your affair. You made my son believe I was some kind of obsessive stalker when all I wanted was to love his children. They're my children. They're my grandchildren, and I've missed 2 years of their lives because you're a liar and a cheat. My voice dropped, cold and firm. You will never keep them from me again. Michael's lawyers are putting visitation rights in the divorce decree. And if you try to violate those rights, I will take you to court and I will win. She was silent for a moment. Then, the kids don't even remember you. That landed like a physical blow. But I didn't let her hear it in my voice. Then, I'll help them remember. I have time now. All the time in the world. I hung up on her. Then I went into my spare bedroom, to where Emma's 7th birthday present still sat in its box, a dollhouse she'd never gotten to play with. But there would be an 8th birthday, and a 9th, and many more after that. I'd make sure of it. The divorce moved quickly, accelerated by Jennifer's affair. In our state, adultery matters in custody cases. Michael's lawyer was sharp and ruthless, presenting evidence not just of the affair, but of Jennifer's pattern of parental alienation. She'd kept me away. She'd limited Michael's parents' access to the children too, it turned out. His father had been too proud to complain, but he'd noticed the same pattern. Jennifer had been systematically isolating the children from their extended family, keeping control, minimizing witnesses to her double life. The custody hearing was brutal. I had to testify about being banned from my grandchildren's lives. Jennifer's lawyer tried to paint me as overbearing, suggested I had violated her privacy by looking at her phone. But my lawyer, Rebecca, was prepared. Mrs. Morrison saw her grandchildren for the first time in 2 years and noticed the respondent behaving suspiciously. When presented with an unlocked phone containing evidence that explained why she'd been cut out of these children's lives, she made the difficult choice to document that evidence for the sake of those children's well-being. The respondent's affair is not the issue here. Her systematic manipulation and parental alienation is. The judge agreed. Michael got primary custody. Jennifer got every other weekend and 1 evening per week. And I got court-ordered visitation. Every Wednesday afternoon and every other Sunday. It was legally binding. She couldn't take them away from me ever again. The first Wednesday I was scheduled to pick up the kids, I was terrified. What if they didn't remember me? What if Jennifer had poisoned them against me? What if 2 years was too long and I'd become a stranger? I arrived at Michael's new apartment. He'd moved out of the family house. Jennifer was fighting him for it in the divorce, but he didn't care. He just wanted out. When he opened the door, I could hear the kids playing in the living room. "They're excited," Michael said quietly. "I've been talking about you all week, showing them photos. They remember more than Jennifer said they would." "What if they don't want to see me?" "Mom, they've been asking about you for days." He called into the other room. "Emma, Lucas, Sophia, Grandma's here." There was a pause. Then Emma appeared in the hallway. She was so tall now, her hair long and braided. She looked at me uncertainly. "Grandma Margaret?" "Hi, sweetheart." My voice was shaking so badly I could barely speak. "Dad said you've been looking for us." "I have. For a very long time." She studied my face, and I could see her mind working, trying to reconcile memories with the present. Then, "Do you still have that dollhouse? The one with the tiny furniture?" I started crying. "I do. It's at my house, waiting for you." Emma smiled. It was cautious, but real. "Can we go see it?" The twins appeared behind her, curious and shy. Lucas was clutching a stuffed dinosaur. Sophia had paint on her hands from an art project. They were 5 years old now, no longer toddlers, but real little people with personalities and opinions. "Are you really our grandma?" Lucas asked. "I am. I've been your grandma since the day you were born, and I've missed you every single day. I've been waiting such a long time to see you again." Sophia stepped forward and took my hand. Her tiny fingers wrapped around mine, and I thought my heart might explode. "Okay, you can be our grandma." As if it were that simple, as if I needed her permission. But in that moment, it felt like I did, and she'd given it. We went to my house. I prepared snacks, pulled out photo albums, cleaned and organized the playroom that had sat empty for 2 years. The dollhouse was set up and waiting.
Emma gasped when she saw it. It's so pretty. It's yours. It's been waiting for you. We spent 3 hours together that first day. I didn't try to force affection. I didn't demand they call me grandma or hug me or love me immediately. I just was there. I answered their questions. I showed them photos of themselves as babies. I let them explore my house and rediscover the toys I'd kept stored for them. When it was time to take them back to Michael's, Emma hugged me. It was brief and awkward, but it was a hug. Can we come back next week? Every Wednesday and every other Sunday, for as long as you want. Jennifer tried to interfere, of course. She called Michael constantly those first few weeks, claiming the kids were upset after visits with me, insisting the schedule was too disruptive. But the custody order was clear, and Michael stood firm. This is not negotiable, Jennifer. The kids see my mother. It's done. She tried to turn them against me. I could tell because Lucas started asking questions. Mom says you're the reason Dad left. Is that true?
I knelt down to his level, choosing my words carefully. Your dad and I both love you very much. Sometimes adults make mistakes, and those mistakes hurt the people around them. But none of this is your fault. And you don't have to choose sides. You can love your mom and love me and love your dad all at the same time. But why couldn't we see you for so long? That's a question for the grown-ups to answer when you're older. What matters is that you can see me now, and I'm going to be here for you always. The divorce was finalized 4 months after I discovered Jennifer's affair. 48 hours might have been how long it took for me to tell Michael and for him to file papers, but the actual legal process took much longer. Jennifer fought everything: the custody arrangement, the property division, the alimony. She even tried to fight my visitation rights, claiming I'd violated her privacy and couldn't be trusted around the children. The judge shut that down fast. Mrs. Morrison's actions led to the discovery of your affair, which is relevant to custody determinations. Your pattern of parental alienation is well documented. The grandparent visitation rights stand. When it was finally over, Michael called me from the courthouse. It's done, Mom. I'm officially divorced. How do you feel? Free. And guilty for feeling free. Those kids are going to grow up in a broken home because of Jennifer's choices and my failure to see who she really was. They're going to grow up knowing they're loved. By you, by me, by your father. That's what matters. And they are loved. Over the past year, I've watched my grandchildren slowly come back to me. Emma and I bake together every Wednesday. She's teaching me about the books she's reading at school. These chapter books with complicated plots that she explains with great seriousness. The twins and I build elaborate Lego cities that take over my living room. Lucas wants to be an architect. Sophia wants to be a veterinarian. I've learned about their lives, the 2 years I missed. Emma's first time riding a bike without training wheels, the twins' first day of preschool, Sophia's obsession with frogs that led to her catching 6 of them in the backyard and trying to keep them as pets, Lucas's fear of thunderstorms and how Michael had to sleep on his floor for a week during a stormy period. I'll never get those memories back. Jennifer stole that from me, from them, from all of us. But I refuse to be bitter about what I lost. I'm too busy being grateful for what I have now. Jennifer rarely speaks to me. When she does, it's cold and necessary. Logistics about pickups and drop-offs. Michael handles most of it. He's dating someone new now, a teacher named Amanda who's kind to the kids and respectful to me. I like her. More importantly, the kids like her. Jennifer's relationship with Drew ended. I learned through the social circle gossip that inevitably makes its way back to me. Turns out he wasn't interested in a serious relationship with a woman who had 3 kids and a messy divorce. She's alone now, bitter,
fighting Michael on every little thing, even though the divorce is final. She tried to violate the custody order twice in the first 6 months, claiming emergencies that prevented her from bringing the kids to me for visitation. Both times, Michael's lawyer filed motions, and both times the judge warned her that continued violations would result in contempt charges. She learned. She stopped fighting. Now she just endures, and I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. But then I remember 2 years of my life I'll never get back. 2 years of my grandchildren's lives I missed, and I save my sympathy for people who deserve it. Last month was Emma's 8th birthday. This time I was invited to the party. Michael hosted it at his apartment, and Emma insisted I help make the cake. We made a 3-layered chocolate monstrosity with pink frosting and edible glitter that was absolutely hideous and absolutely perfect. Jennifer came for the cake portion, her custody agreement mandating she have access for birthday celebrations. She stood in the corner, watching as Emma blew out her candles while surrounded by her father, her siblings, me, Michael's father, Amanda, and several of Emma's school friends. "Make a wish, sweetie," I called out. Emma closed her eyes, thought for a moment, and blew. When the candles were out and everyone was clapping, she looked at me and smiled. "I wish that things could stay just like this." Jennifer left shortly after, claiming she had somewhere to be. Maybe she did. Maybe she couldn't stand watching what she had almost destroyed, now rebuilt without her at the center. I won't pretend everything is perfect. The kids still struggle sometimes with the divorce, with splitting time between parents, with understanding why their family looks different now. Sophia has nightmares sometimes. Lucas gets angry out of nowhere, throwing tantrums that seem to come from nothing. Emma tries to play peacemaker, trying to make everyone happy, taking on responsibilities no 8-year-old should carry.
But they're getting better. Michael has them in therapy, and it's helping. And they have me now, consistently, reliably. Every Wednesday, I pick them up from school. We have a routine. Snacks first, then homework, then playtime. Every other Sunday, we have grandma adventures, where I take them somewhere special. The zoo, the children's museum, the park, the library where all of this began. Sometimes I think about that moment in the library, standing with Jennifer's phone in my shaking hands. What would have happened if I hadn't looked? How many more years would she have kept me away? How much more of their childhoods would I have missed? But I did look. I found the truth. And the truth, as painful as it was, set all of us free. My sister Patricia says I should write a book. Grandmother's Revenge, How I Caught My Daughter-in-Law's Affair and Got My Grandkids Back. I told her that's a terrible title. She said it would be a bestseller. I don't need to write a book. I have everything I need right here. Wednesday afternoons covered in flour from baking with Emma. Sunday mornings watching Lucas build Lego spaceships. Sophia's hand in mine as we look at the fish tank at the pet store. Michael calling me just to talk. Our relationship rebuilt and stronger now. These moments are worth more than any revenge, any vindication, any satisfaction I got from exposing Jennifer's lies. The best revenge isn't what I did to her. The best revenge is living well, loving fully, and being present for every moment she tried to steal from me. There's a photo on my refrigerator now. All 3 kids, taken 2 weeks ago. Emma's in the middle with her arms around the twins, all of them laughing at something just outside the frame. They're growing so fast. Emma's going to need braces soon. Lucas is reading chapter books now. Sophia lost her first tooth last week and put it under her pillow for the tooth fairy. Then asked me the next morning if I was the tooth fairy all along. I am the tooth fairy, of course. I'm also the baker of cookies, the reader of bedtime stories, the holder of secrets, the keeper of Band-Aids and spare clothes and emergency snacks.
I'm the one they call when they're scared or sad or just need someone who isn't mom or dad. I'm grandma, and no one will ever take that away from me again. If I could go back and change things, would I? Would I skip the 2 years of pain, the isolation, the grief? Part of me wants to say yes, but those 2 years taught me something important. They taught me to fight for what matters. They taught me that being kind doesn't mean being weak, and that love sometimes requires courage. I learned that I'm stronger than I thought I was, that I can stand up to people who hurt me, that I can advocate for myself and for the people I love, that patience has its place, but so does action. And I learned that family isn't just about biology or obligation. It's about showing up consistently with love and intention. It's about being there even when it's hard, even when you're not wanted, even when the world tells you to give up. I didn't give up. I found evidence, I told the truth, and I fought back. And because of that, I get to be grandma again. I get to watch my grandchildren grow up. I get to be part of their lives, part of their memories, part of their stories. Jennifer tried to erase me. She failed. And that failure must burn more than anything else I could have done to her. Last week, Emma asked me to come to her school for Grandparents' Day. She wanted me to talk about my life, my experiences, what I'd learned. I almost said no. Public speaking terrifies me, and talking to a room full of second graders sounded overwhelming. But Emma looked at me with those big eyes and said, "Please, Grandma, I want everyone to meet you." So I went. I sat in a too small chair in front of 25 7- and 8-year-olds, and I talked about my life, about growing up in a different era, about meeting my husband, about raising Michael, about being a grandmother. I talked about hard times and good times and the importance of family. And then one little boy raised his hand and asked, "What's the most important thing you've ever learned?" I thought about it for a moment, about Robert's death and Jennifer's betrayal and 2 years of exile and the long fight back. And then I answered, "The most important thing I've learned is that you have to advocate for yourself and for the people you love. Sometimes people will try to make you small. They'll try to make you believe you don't matter, that you don't have rights, that you should just accept whatever treatment they give you. But you matter, your relationships matter, and sometimes love means fighting for those relationships, even when it's scary." The teacher looked surprised. Maybe that was a heavier answer than she expected for Grandparents' Day. But Emma was beaming at me, proud, and that's all that mattered. My name is Margaret Morrison. I'm 67 years old. I'm a widow, a mother, and a grandmother. For 2 years, I lost access to my grandchildren because my daughter-in-law was having an affair and I was inconvenient to her lies. I discovered evidence of that affair. I told my son the truth, and I fought for legal visitation rights. It took 48 hours from the moment I found those messages on her phone until my son filed for divorce. It took months more for the divorce to finalize, for custody to be settled, for my visitation rights to be legally protected. It took a year of consistent Wednesday afternoons and Sunday adventures for my grandchildren to fully trust me again. But I got them back, and I'll never let anyone take them away from me again. If you liked my story, I hope it reminds you that you're never too old to stand up for yourself. You're never too powerless to fight back against injustice. And love, real love, is worth fighting for. If you've ever been shut out of someone's life unfairly, if you've ever been painted as the villain for caring too much, if you've ever wondered if you should just give up and accept being treated poorly, please don't. fight back. Document everything. Seek legal advice. Tell the truth, even when it's hard. You deserve to be in the lives of the people you love. And sometimes the strongest act of love is refusing to disappear. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from others who faced similar situations. And remember, you're stronger than you think you are.